Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back for my review of chapter 258 of Black Clover, which the main theme of this chapter was actually the trust and bonds between characters, and you see that on full display with Asta and Yami, the two main characters of the chapter as they face off against Dante. But we also see a little bit of a trust forming and a bond forming between Asta and his demon AMD, for actually kind of the first time throughout the entire series. Although considering the fact that AMD's entire goal since he's been introduced has been to take over Asta's body, I'm not sure if I was asked to how much trust I would actually be putting into him just yet. Okay, so the chapter opens up and we get kind of this cold opening with Asta and Yami. I mean, we get some dialogue from Dante in the beginning. He's basically just talking down to them, saying that they are not going to be able to beat him. And then we just go over to Asta and Yami, and the two of them are just kind of just standing there in the same poses that they were in at the end of the last chapter. They breathe in, and then without saying any words, like almost like they're reading each other's minds, Yami tells Asta, "I'm going to take the lead, follow me up," and Asta's like, "Got it, I'm right behind you." And again, there's no dialogue said between the two of them. It's really like they're reading each other's minds. And the whole time this is happening through the two of them, or not even two of them, just basically Asta himself reading Yami's ki. And because of this, the two of them are actually able to form a plan when it comes to fighting Dante without saying any words, almost like they are reading each other's minds. Because Yami knows full well that Asta has the ability to read ki. He knows that he is trained in it because Yami trained him himself in how to do it. And because of this, he knows that Asta is going to be able to read his ability to read his movements in a way that basically says, "Hey, listen, I intend to take the lead in the fight. I want you to be my backup." And again, this plan actually shows exactly how much trust Asta has in Yami, because in the situation, you would think that Asta would want to take the lead himself, due to the fact that Yami is so heavily damaged right now, and because of the fact that Asta's attacks are really the only thing that's actually going to do any permanent damage to Dante. Because we've already seen throughout the entire fight between Yami and Dante, that even though Yami had the advantage for most of the fight, because of the fact that Dante had his ability to heal with his flesh magic, he could never do any permanent damage to Dante. But because of Asta's anti-magic abilities, once he does land an attack on Dante, Dante's not going to be able to very easily heal it. So he should be the one taking the lead in the fight. So like I said, I really like the way the two of them just start off the fight by reading each other's keys, finding out exactly what they're planning on doing. They just breathe in, rip their swords once they both confirm the fact that they're ready to start the fight, and then they just rush in. And at first the two of them are in perfect sync. They seem like the perfect pair to team up against Dante right now. But as the fight continues on, we quickly see that Asta is very low on stamina. And that makes a lot of sense because if you remember in the last chapter, near the end of it, once he started to realize that Yami was losing the fight because of Dante's new form, he wanted to get up initially, but he didn't have the energy to do it. But it was because Yami called on him and said, "Hey, listen man, I need your help in this fight. I can't do this alone." That Asta, basically running on fumes, was able to force himself to get up in order to basically stand side by side with Yami in order to help him. But even though Asta was able to do that, he is still technically running on fumes, so he's going to run out of energy pretty quickly in this fight. And we see that happen. Like literally the two of them rush in, Yami's able to land an attack on Dante's, I want to say, right side. Or, well, technically for him, it would have been his left side. For Dante, it would have been his right side from the way he's facing him. And Asta goes to try to attack him from the other side, but because, again, he's running on fumes, he's low on energy, he's not fast enough to basically attack him before Dante's able to counterattack. And because of this, Yami actually has to kick Asta out of the way. Now, after Yami kicks Asta out of the way of Dante's initial attack, Asta is actually able to land his own attack against Dante. And this is when Yami basically confirms, okay, yeah, it is Asta's anti-magic that's actually going to be able to do permanent damage against him. I kind of have to just be here to distract Yami, or distract Dante, so that Asta can basically continue on attacking him. But Asta's lack of stamina is continuing to be a problem in the fight because Dante's able to basically keep up with Asta and throw attacks at him. And at one point he actually does manage to land a clean hit on Asta, which pushes him back. And because of this, Asta realizes that he's starting to become more of a burden during the fight. He's not really helping out with Yami. And it's actually because of the fact that Asta realizes that he's being a burden in the fight instead of helping, that he makes the conscious decision to enter his own, like, basically inner mindscape and talk to AMD. And I actually really like this part of the chapter, which, by the way, I called a while ago that Asta and AMD would have to basically form some kind of bond and actually start working together actively in order to be able to beat Dante. And we're seeing basically the start of that in this chapter. So Asta goes in to talk to AMD in the same kind of like inner mindscape area that we saw him talk to him during the Witch Forest arc. And I really like the interaction between the two of them in this chapter because it's not as hostile as I initially thought it would be for them to first decide to partner up with each other. Because as soon as Asta gets in there, he's like, "Hey, listen, Devil, I sensed your hate." And this actually kind of shows exactly how smart Asta kind of is. because he calls back on the beginning of the fight between him and Dante when he could sense AMD's intense hatred and despise to Dante and Lucifer. And he calls on that and he says, hey, listen, a while ago I sensed how much you hate this guy. I know you want to kill him. So work with me, lend me some of your power so that we can stand a chance of defeating him. And we even see Asta open up and say, listen, man, it took me a while, but I remembered the fact that we had met like this before. And ever since I remembered, I should have started interacting with you in the way we are right now. And from now on, I will. And this is Asta trying to form somewhat of a level of trust and a bond between him and AMD, because he knows that the two of them need each other in order to be able to fight. AMD needs a physical human body in order to actually use his powers in the human world. And Asta needs AMD's magic or anti-magic abilities because he doesn't have any of his own magic. So the two of them can't fight alone, so they have to work together. But I think Asta's resolve might have convinced AMD to, instead of make a deal with him, just give him the energy and power he needs in order to continue fighting. Because at the end of the conversation, after the two of them kind of agree to the deal, Asta basically explains that the reason why he wants to do the deal is because he knows he's going to need AMD's help in order to get further power and continue on along with his dream of becoming the Magic Emperor. But above any of that, he wants to be able to help Captain Yami in this moment. So he's willing to make any deal and any sacrifice with AMD if it will give him the power to help out his captain. And you can see that at the end of that conversation, AMD's smile goes from like a sinister look to more of like, kind of like that confused look you give someone when they say something that surprises you but at the same time impresses you and gets you to kind of like understand them better now. It seems like that's the kind of look he's giving at the end of that conversation. But anyway, we cut back to the real world and we basically see that Asta is now fully energized again and he's ready to continue on fighting. It doesn't look like AMD actually gave him a new power-up. It doesn't seem like his dark form's any different than it usually was. But he now has the full-on energy to keep on fighting against Dante alongside Yami. And that's where the chapter ends. We don't get to see anything else for the fight. We don't get to see any kind of new crazy power that Asta is going to be using against him. We just see that now he has enough energy that he's not going to be a burden on Yami during the fight anymore. So I really like the way the chapter ends, a little bit of dialogue that we get from Asta at the end, and it's probably going to change in the official translation, but at the end of the chapter, Asta basically just says, listen, this is my power for now. This is my best for now. And so it's almost kind of like him just like being a little bit cocky and bragging, saying, hey, yeah, this is what I can do for right now, but I'm going to get stronger. Like tomorrow, I'm going to be 10 times stronger. The day after that, I'm going to be 10 times stronger. It just seems like Asta is basically announcing right now, hey, listen, defeat me now or you're never going to get a chance to again. And again, I love it because it's a little bit cocky. At the same time, it's basically just Asta being a normal Asta saying, hey, listen, I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to improve myself. Basically, it's like him making a promise to get stronger, but it's coming off, in my opinion, a little bit cocky at the same time, and I love it. Now I'm really interested to see what ends up happening after next chapter, because I'm assuming next chapter is the end of the fight. I'm assuming that this is where the fight's going to end and Yami's going to get kidnapped. And I'm wondering how this is going to basically push the rest of the Black Bull members. Are they going to use this as a reason to get even stronger in order to go and rescue Yami? Or are they just going to jump right head into it and basically say, let's invade the Space Kingdom now in order to get our captain back? Because personally, I would rather them basically take a little bit more time to train. You know, maybe the body comes with some reason as to why the Dark Triad can't activate their plan right away, giving them enough time to train, because we do still need Noel and, you know, to get the power-ups they need in order to fight off against Vanica and Zeno as well. So this could actually give the Black Bulls some time to get a little bit stronger. And this will also give us enough time to basically reintroduce Magna and Zora to the team and basically show the fruits of their training. And on top of that, we can now be introduced to who everyone suspects is the vice captain of the Black Bulls, the member who is currently invading the Space Kingdom right now on a secret mission to gain as much information as possible. Since if they are technically the vice captain, with Yami being kidnapped, we can see them come in, introduce themselves to the rest of the team, and basically take charge of the mission to rescue Yami after we get a little bit of training and a power boost for all the characters. But anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like, drop me a comment. I would greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.